Welcome, friends, it's the Movie Film Podcast. Movie Film Podcast, enjoy the show. Zachy and Brian are talking about movies. Movie Film Podcast on the radio.
Welcome to Movie Film. I am Zachy Hassan, and you're hearing us work things out on mic.
Yeah.
Without a net.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we roll, and I'm talking to Brian Hall. Say hi, Brian.
Oh, hey. How's it going?
It is going well. It is going well. We are just under a week out from the record-breaking release of Black Panther, and we did talk about the movie itself in our last episode, but we'll spend a little bit of time in just a bit talking about all of the astonishing box office debris that has been left in its wake, and what has truly been an out of the blue or out of the black release week for Black Panther.
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. I was just listening to you. I wasn't prepared to have something to say. Yeah, I can't believe it has already been a week, just because there's been so much to read about it and just seeing the response to it. And I guess because it was a holiday weekend, it felt a little different. But
that is true.
Yeah,
I have seen it twice now, and you have seen it twice now.
I have, yes.
So I'm curious. What have your have your thoughts changed on the film? Have they deepened or harshened? Is that a word? Coarsened?
Yeah, no, I saw it a second time, kind of through circumstances where I didn't mean to see it a second time, but I'd sort of promised someone, da 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 da. So I went like, oh yeah, I'll go, but it wasn't like my first choice for the thing to do that day. I did it sort of out of obligation. But as I was watching it, because that's the other thing too, when you're excited about a film, you like watching it a second time, but sometimes I like to put a little bit of space, because I find if I do something like back to back to back, then I kind of tire of it. And then it takes a long time for me to ever want to go back to it. But with certain films, you just don't mind. And I found that this was one of them. I mean, I really did enjoy it all over again the second time. And any sort of questions that I had, I noticed that it was all covered. I mentioned it actually in the last episode. I wasn't sure about when Killmonger burned the heart plant thing. And I thought he was burning all their resources, and I didn't catch that was just the juice. But and then my other thing was the guy from Get Out. I forget his character's name.
Daniel Kaluuya.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the actor who played him. I knew he was sort of resistant to. I noticed the second time that he was resistant to refugees coming into Wakanda, but he was okay with taking their resources out.
Yes.
And I had missed that detail the first time, so I was confused why he was willing to participate in Killmonger's plans. But then it made sense to me the second time. So those were my only two sort of like.
And his name, by the way, was Wakabi.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I gotta say, like, I was never bored. I laughed at the same parts. Still found it like a heck of a lot of fun. Like, yeah, I enjoyed it very much.
One of the things
you?
I've been via Facebook, the conversation I've been seeing, and I think this goes to what the film did really well, is this discussion about how much, if at all, we should sympathize with Killmonger.
I saw this on your Facebook page. I didn't even know that was a conversation.
That's because you're white, Brian.
Apparently.
No, it's funny, actually, because
I did see the new National album came out. That's a total joke.
Over the weekend, I saw Killmonger was trending on Twitter.
Really?
And I thought, oh, that's kind of interesting. And then Monday morning, I went into my class, and I was like, what's going on? And, people talk about what they did, and people started talking about Black Panther. And I had one person be like, man, I love the villain. I think he's the real hero. And I said, please explain this to me. And, I heard him out. And this student kind of landed on, well, he's like an anti-hero. And I pushed back on that a little bit, because I was like, well, I think there's a difference between having a villain who is sympathetic and whose rationale you understand, but who is still objectively a villain.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So, for example, if we look at like the Vulture in Spider-Man Homecoming,
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
he's a bad guy. You can't justify what he does, even though you say, but I see why he did it. It's still wrong. So he's still a villain.
Right.
And so I put Killmonger in that camp.
Right.
Right. And I think this goes folks, we're about to potentially spoil Black Panther. So if you haven't seen it, please like go watch it, then listen to this. The very first scene where Killmonger's introduced, I mean minute one, he murders an innocent woman.
It's his first action.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the first thing that we see. And I don't think, I mean, films are all about what you don't see just as much as they are what you see, right? So we don't get, like, a scene before that where we see her being cruel or something, or being dismissive of Wakanda, or something that in the world of the film might potentially justify his action. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Instead, she's, by all accounts, knowledgeable and sensitive, and sensitive to sort of the cultural importance of these artifacts, and for her trouble, she is murdered. So, minute one, we're like, okay, he's a bad guy. So no matter what we are presented from that moment till the end to make him sympathetic, I think he's extremely sympathetic, he's still a bad guy who murders innocent people without a second thought.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'm old-fashioned that way, Brian. I don't know.
No. I'm just surprised that that was even a conversation.
I mean, I think it goes to the fact that this notion of black liberation and what that means, depending on who you are. I mean, the conversation about black liberation is maybe not necessarily something you are privy to, you, Brian Hall, but certainly when you talk to black people, that's always a part of the conversation, right? And I think it's only natural because it emerges from a place of different people responding to oppression in different ways.
Right.
And if we look at the totality of the black experience in America and say, notwithstanding people's ability to rise up and whatnot, but when we look at it en toto, there has been long-term systemic oppression. Mm-hmm. In a variety of different ways. Mm-hmm. And so then in what do we ask for in response to oppression? Liberation. How does liberation manifest? And so really, through the mechanism of Killmonger and T'Challa, we have a blockbuster Disney superhero movie talking about how do we deal with this need for black liberation. I mean, come on, you got to give it up to Ryan Coogler. I mean, he did not sneak this in.
Right.
This is front and center, and he did it. And for his trouble, he managed to demolish every record there is to demolish. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's extraordinary, you know?
Yeah. And he wrote kind of a lovely letter to fans and critics and whatnot, thanking them for the unprecedented weekend. I mean, it was kind of nice.
Yeah. Do you have that letter pulled up?
I don't have it in front of me, but
I have it. I have it right here, and I'll share some of that because I did find it incredibly poignant, especially when you consider. I mean, what is he, like 31, 32, something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
I was reading an article from a local newspaper here because he's from the Bay Area. Profiling him at age 21, and looking at how he had sort of he came up out of poverty and he was pursuing a film education and whatnot, and it has him at a local movie theater in like Richmond over here, and it says, here's Ryan Coogler at this theater in Richmond. One day he hopes they'll show his movies, and then somebody on Twitter posted like the schedule, the movies there. And it's just like Black Panther.
That's awesome.
What a story, right?
Yeah.
So here is at least a chunk of the letter. I'm not going to read the whole thing. And this is Ryan Coogler to the audience. He says, I'm struggling to find the words to express my gratitude at this moment, but I will try. Filmmaking is a team sport, and our team was made up of amazing people from all over the world who believe in this story. Deep down, we all hoped that people would come to see a film about a fictional country on the continent of Africa made up of a cast of people of African descent. Never in a million years did we imagine that you all would come out this strong. It still humbles me to think that people care enough to spend their money and time watching our film. But to see people of all backgrounds wearing clothing that celebrates their heritage, taking pictures next to our posters with their friends and family, and sometimes dancing in the lobbies of theaters often moved me and my wife to tears. For the people who bought out theaters, who posted on social about how lit the film would be, bragged about our awesome cast, picked out outfits to wear, and who stood in line in theaters all over the world, all before seeing the film, to the press who wrote about the film for folks who hadn't yet seen it and encouraged audiences to come out, and to the young ones who came out with their parents, with their mentors, and with their friends. Thank you for giving our team of filmmakers the greatest gift, the opportunity to share this film that we poured our hearts and souls into with you. Sincerely, Ryan Coogler, P.S. Wakanda Forever.
Yeah, that's great.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
And it's funny because I saw a video that Will Smith posted on Twitter yesterday, just extolling praise for the film, but also really just almost everyone involved. He names them, and he's like, "What you did is so extraordinary, and what you did is so amazing." And again, it goes to like, man, above and beyond the fact that it is a good film, but look at what it means for a black person in this country.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't think you can undervalue that. And I mentioned this on my social media, but I can't help but think about in 1997 the movie Spawn.
I've never seen it.
Well, I mean, you're not missing much, but
Yeah.
it's about a black superhero, right?
Okay.
And they cast Michael Jai White in the title role, right? But what I remember about that film is that they took one of the supporting characters from the comic who is black,
Mm-hmm.
and they cast a white actor in the film. And they did that for the specific reason that they didn't want people thinking it was a black movie. Because
What is that sketch where it's like you can't? Oh no, it was not a sketch. It was Master of None, where you can only have one Indian actor in a TV show, otherwise it becomes an Indian show. So
Right.
like, oh well, if you're in it, then I can't be in it.
Yeah, right. You know, or like remember
Yeah.
Not Another Teen Movie when they're at the party?
Yeah.
It's like I'm the black guy at the party, right?
Yeah, like, oh, sorry, my
Yeah,
mistake.
my bad. And then he leaves, right? I mean, that's what this was. I remember, in fact, it was D.B. Sweeney who the guy who they cast as this black character.
Oh, funny.
Right, and the fact that they said it, like, it wasn't like under the radar kind of
Right, right.
They're like, here's the deal, this is why we did it. And I was explaining this to my students this last Monday, and they could not believe that somebody actually articulated that.
Right. Well, I can't either, to be honest, but
But I mean, it was a different world 20 years ago.
yeah. You know, I didn't mention this last episode, but I was thinking this as I left the theater. And this movie had so much writing on it.
Yes.
I mean, it was important for so many ways that it has proven successful that we're talking about now with hindsight. But just knowing what they had to accomplish and the people that they wanted to reach, and not just certain people, but everybody. You know, like there's so many people they wanted to please specifically and in a broad sense, and it's just difficult enough to make a good movie, period. You know, but this one, like, this one's gotta be a winner. I mean, what kind of pressure is that? Like, I don't know. I was just sort of amazed that I'm certain they knew what they had to do, and they did it. And that's it's worthy of recognizing and saying, like, they just know what they're doing over there.
You know, we talked about this a little bit last time about, you know, sort of the synthesis that you have between the Marvel Studios brain trust, Kevin Feige first among them, and then whichever filmmakers they bring in, and how they really do seem to have turned a corner somewhere in, you know, the third phase, where they just let these directors do their thing, and the directors know enough to make the film fit without needing there to be too heavy-handed, like a producer presence, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And we see that with the Guardians films, which are, I mean, James Gunn, it's just written all over every frame. His sensibility.
Mm-hmm.
And then this film is very much a Coogler movie.
Mm-hmm.
And yet it's very much a Marvel movie. And I think the fact that we are 10 years in, that's what allows them that flexibility, because at this point the brand is the brand. Everybody knows it.
Right.
And that's what you can do. But even still, I mean, $242 million opening weekend. Would you ever in a million years have predicted that?
No.
I mean, right? Because a win would have been the initial projections, which is like 120. Nobody would have faulted it for that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, there's very few movies, and I'm not saying because of this movie specifically, but like there are very few movies that can do that. You know what I mean? Like a Star Wars or an Avengers or something like that, but that's about it. Or like a Harry Potter back in the day.
Yeah. So, I mean, it is cool to sort of be there for this cultural moment.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in terms of a phenomenon, I mean, certainly The Force Awakens feels like the last time we saw something as organic as that.
Mm-hmm.
At this scale. I mean, I think Get Out, maybe to a lesser extent, as this little movie nobody thought of.
Sure.
Really blowing up, But I mean, if nothing else, the myth that people won't show up for black films needs to die in a fire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So with that in mind, we do have some comments here. Specifically, we have a listener letter here. Oh. And I wanted to share that with you. This is from Tyler Closter, one of our regulars. And, hey, he has a question about The Last Jedi. How's that for a segue? And Tyler says, the naysayers are still trying to paint The Last Jedi as a box office disappointment, if not an outright flop. I'm part of the group that feels that TLJ only looks like a box office disappointment when you stack it against the staggering, beyond Disney's wildest dreams success of The Force Awakens. It looks like it will finish just over $620 million domestic. My question, if The Force Awakens had finished with that total in 2015, wouldn't Disney have been ecstatic with that result? For comparison, no one would ever question that Revenge of the Sith was a mega success back in 2005, but even if you adjust its box office for inflation, it still comes up about $75 million less domestically than Last Jedi. The disappointment or flop. So what do you think about that?
Well, I completely agree with that. I think it's ridiculous. I mean, it gets... I don't know that this is entirely related, but it gets sort of complicated when you look at something like Spider-Man 2 or Amazing Spider-Man, or was that what the second series was called?
Yes.
Yeah.
Spider-Man, who gives a crap?
Yeah, where it does really well at the box office, yet somehow it is still considered a disappointment.
Yeah, I mean,
like
Amazing Spider-Man 2 made something like $700+ million worldwide. And, I mean, that goes in the win column.
Yeah, and I think any film domestically that makes almost $700 million, like Last Jedi, I mean, that's very, very, very few films do that.
Right.
So it's, of course, I think it's just... And, I mean, also, that's the other thing, too, that I find sort of interesting when you look at movies that are a series. Very rarely do the second and third films ever stack up money-wise to the first one, right?
I mean, well, if we look at just Star Wars, we have two prior trilogies to use as a barometer.
Yeah.
And what we tend to see is that the second one drops, and then the third one picks it up again.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell people this all the time. I'm like, The Empire Strikes Back was not overwhelmingly beloved when it first came out.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We don't think about that now. And Disney can afford to play the long game with these Star Wars movies because they're going to be around forever. People are going to be watching them forever.
Yeah.
Right? You can't say that about some of these other, Amazing Spider-Man 2, let's be honest. Like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, that's true.
That's going to go in a drawer somewhere. And I mean, ain't nobody going to be watching those movies.
Yeah.
Probably. Feel kind of bad for Andrew Garfield, but it is the truth. Like, I think the Tobey Maguire trilogy will probably be revisited fairly often, just as a historical artifact. But I don't see there being a market for this weird, like, tweener Spider-Man series.
Yeah, and that's a bummer because he seems like a nice guy, and it seems like he was very passionate about being Spider-Man. So that's too bad.
It is a bummer, right? And the truth of it is that I think if Sony got an offer they couldn't refuse, but let's say that offer was not on the table. Had Sony come back in a couple of years and been like, here's Amazing Spider-Man 3 and made a decent movie, I think that would have been enough to sort of turn things around. Because remember, Amazing Spider-Man 2 opened with something like $90+ million.
Oh, wow.
Right? So the audience is there.
Yeah, well, Spider-Man. It's
Spider-Man, right? And that's
people want to see Spider-Man.
Yeah, and so the audience is always there, and I think had they come back a couple of years later with a decent third one, nobody would be talking about what a shitty movie the second one is, right? And I don't think it's a shitty movie. I just think it's an okay movie, right?
Right.
But with Star Wars, I mean, perspective-wise, I think Tyler's exactly right. Why was The Force Awakens the smash hit that it was, right?
Why Force Awakens?
The Force Awakens. Why was it as big a hit as it was?
I think that was because it was the triumphant return.
Yeah.
You know?
I'll tell you why. That trailer that had that shot of Harrison Ford saying, Chewie, we're home.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's $500 million right there.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so you were never going to replicate that experience, period.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Right? I mean, this was the Star Wars sequel we had waited 3 decades for.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Well, now, and it's weird actually when you think about it, because would Harrison Ford being in The Last Jedi have potentially been cause for greater box office? This is a question somebody asked me.
I have no idea. I mean, if he had a satisfying story, I think, and I'm not trying to step into this again, but a lot of people weren't satisfied with Luke's story.
Sure.
So you got a significant chunk of people that may have returned to watch that story more than the times that they did. It doesn't. I'm not saying that's a good or bad story, but repeatability, perhaps. I don't know. But at the same time, it still made a crap load of money.
Yeah, right. And
I
that's
think if
my
you're to
point.
divorce the narrative from all of this and people's opinions and people trying to say that it made less, like if you were to have sort of just something about numbers, like a Forbes article about just box office statistics, they'd be like, yeah, this is completely normal for a sequel and blah, 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 blah. And they could probably already predict what the third one's going to do. But people want to slap some sort of, did you get a load of this? And then they turn it into a thing. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, The Force Awakens was a once in a generation experience.
Yes.
And as soon as that movie was over, it was like, well, that's the last time it's ever going to be like that.
Yes.
Right? And so then it becomes, well, I'll catch it when I catch it.
Mm-hmm.
So you have your diehards who are going to go out, and it just so happens that Star Wars has a much broader cultural reach, so by extension, there are more diehards.
Mm-hmm.
But, as these movies become more frequent, people are going to start drifting away. That's a normal thing. So I think where The Last Jedi landed, if we say that this is the low point of this trilogy, well, that's not a bad place to be.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, the third one, well, all things being equal, let me couch myself so I don't look like an asshole when the movie comes out. But people are going to turn out more for the third one because it's the end of the trilogy and that's how it's going to be promoted. Right?
Yeah.
And one presumes it'll be the last episode for a little while.
Right.
With that in mind, why don't we take a little break and then we can talk some more Star Wars news after this.
Let's do it.
And we're back. Let's play the music. Well, Brian, do we have any Star Wars news?
In fact, we do. We're onwards and upwards. We've got episode 9 news.
Really?
Now, yeah, and that is that J.J. Abrams has said that they have a finished script, and they're shooting in July. So the wheels are already turning.
That's fast.
Yeah. Which, yeah, I mean, for him, this could be sort of talk show talk. I'm sure there's going to
because
be.
he said this on Stephen Colbert's show.
Yeah. I mean, I imagine there's still work to be done on that script leading up to, because to have it be like locked and done 6-7 months out or whatever it is. But that's kind of exciting. It exists on someone's hard drive somewhere.
Now that is kind of interesting because given sort of, it kind of felt like Abrams had to swoop in at the last minute, and so the presumption was, or maybe just the assumption was, that they were sort of flying blind. But if the script or the shooting script, which may not necessarily be what fully ends up on screen, but if they're at a point where they've got something they feel comfortable shooting, that means that they feel pretty good about the story.
Yeah, and they had thrown out entirely the script that Colin Trevorrow had been working on.
Is that right?
Yes.
You
so
know
that's yes. Yeah, that's and it's interesting too that, like you said, I mean, that's pretty darn quick for him to have happened, him to conceive of a completely original J.J. Abrams brained ending to this trilogy, written it. I remember not too long ago there was news that he had just pitched it to Bob Iger or something.
Really?
And that wasn't that long ago, and here we are with the script. So, but apparently
what'll be funny, Brian? Like the first scene of the movie will be like Ray and Finn and Poe are like, "What should we do now?" And then like from off camera, "I'll help." And like Luke walks on, "Yes, I'm not dead. By the way, neither is Snoke. Here's the plan." Like just,
yeah, right.
Just JJ completely wiping out everything the last movie did.
That would be amazing. He's like, "Uh-oh, Knights of Ren, the friggin' Knights of Ren that I had mentioned."
Oh my God! I mean, I don't want to see that, but I kind of do.
I was gonna say, even if it was literally that clunky, I could see half the audience being like, "Okay, I'm going with this."
Oh my God! I want to see that now.
I know, or at least he shoots it for his friends. Like
right.
It's one of those. But I didn't know. Well, I was just gonna say with The Force Awakens, he co-wrote that with Lawrence Kasdan.
Yes.
And this one I didn't know he's writing with Chris Terrio.
Oh, I did I know that? I think I did know that actually.
Yeah, who wrote Batman v Superman, Justice League, Argo.
I feel like you should lead with Argo.
Argo, he wrote Argo.
It's funny because Abrams was on Colbert. I don't know if you saw this, but Colbert introduced him as best known as the co-writer of the Joe Pesci, Danny Glover comedy Gone Fishin'.
Who, J.J. Abrams?
Yeah, that's how he introduced you.
I didn't know he wrote that.
Neither did I. It was pretty funny, but it made me think of that when you talk about Chris Terrio. Like, I'm sure Chris Terrio himself would be like, "Yeah, can you talk about my Oscar-winning, contributions to Argo?"
Yeah.
But I think I did know that he was involved. Yeah. So is that a good thing or a bad thing? I'm here. I'm saying that's a good thing.
What, the Chris Terrio or the whole thing?
Well, yeah, Chris Terrio specifically. I guess the whole thing too.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, I have no reason to think it's not good. I mean, those other movies are like part of a machine.
Yes, as opposed to Star Wars, which is not at all part of a machine. Star Wars is the machine.
You're right. But, well, JJ was quoted as saying he's a genius and he's having a great time. So, why would they lie to us, Zachy? Why would they lie?
Why would they, right?
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, whatever comes next after episode 9, we imagine it'll be a ways before they come back to the Skywalker saga, because there's did we talk about that other the other trilogy that they're doing? I can't remember.
Do we not cover that?
I don't think we did.
Is this the Game of Thrones piece?
Yes.
I guess we didn't. Wow,
we didn't.
We might have missed that in some sort of gap week.
Yeah, right.
Pulling it up.
This is what it sounds like, folks, when we're composing the show on the fly. This is podcast jazz.
Oh, when you put it that excuse me, when you put it that way. I was explaining to Zachy, I still got my cough from some sickness about a month and a half ago, so I apologize. Zachy makes me laugh too much.
It's Brian's Christmas cough.
Yeah. Yeah, we already built out a whole little fable called The Christmas Cough. We'll share it with you guys sometime.
Grandpa started coughing at Christmas. It was his last Christmas. That's why I don't like Christmas. It's like the story that Phoebe Cates tells in Gremlins.
Yeah, except it's a allegory for the Industrial Revolution.
Dude, I watched Gremlins with my oldest a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
I kid you not, I have not seen that movie since like 1987.
Really?
The first Gremlins.
What would you think?
It's so good.
I love Gremlins, yeah. What would your son think?
I only watched it with my oldest one because my memories of it were it being a lot more horrifying than it actually is.
It just has little moments. Like
there's stuff in it. I mean, specifically, honestly, the part that's probably the most horrifying is like when Stripe like meets his end.
Yeah, and he pops out of that fountain.
Yeah, it's disgusting. But on the whole, it's like, I mean, it's probably acceptable. But I watched it with my oldest. He was into it 100%.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. It's the special effects and everything holds up so well. I mean, I'm watching it. I'm imagining a CGI Gremlins movie, and I'm like getting angry thinking about it.
Yeah.
Right? Because you can see what that looks like in your head, and you're like, somebody's plotting that.
Oh, I'm sure. Sure. Just what phase is it at?
Yeah.
That's cool.
So that was
you're making me want to rewatch it. It's been a while.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to getting to the second one with him.
Yeah, I'll be curious what he thinks because I'm no hater of the second one, but it just doesn't reach me or it doesn't delight me like the first one does. It's just so different. So I'll be really curious what your son thinks. You
know what's funny about the second one? Here's my memory about the second one because 1989, John Glover plays Daniel Clamp, right? This mega millionaire, and he has this place called Clamp Center. And I read a review of that movie, and it was like Daniel Clamp, who is a parody of Donald Trump.
Right.
And Clamp Center is Trump Tower. And that was the very first time I ever heard of Donald Trump.
Oh, really?
That's true. And I was like, who's this guy Donald Trump? And then cut to Zachy, 3 decades later being like, why is this guy Donald Trump?
Right.
So full circle. But
and for anybody, by the way, if somehow they've missed this and they have seen Gremlins 2, you absolutely have to Google Gremlins 2 Key and Peele.
Oh my gosh, so funny!
It is one of my favorite sketches of theirs.
You know what I love about that skit is it's made for like 7 people.
Yes, but it's so perfect.
Right,
it's so good. And I love that exists for those 7 people.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Yeah.
Because they were probably having a conversation like we do half the time. We're just talking nonsense, and they're like, "Hey, let's make it a skit." Yeah, and they did.
Well, I had read somewhere that Comedy Central kept rejecting it, and really? That's why they did it in their last season because they're like, "What are they going to do? Cancel us?"
That's awesome. Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Anyway, we are still doing Star Wars news, right?
Yeah. Now we're on Gremlins news. So Joe Dante, The Burbs, yay! So Game of Thrones creators, let's say TV developers, creators of the television show.
There you go.
R.R. Martin's books, David Benioff and D.B. Weiss are going to write and produce a new series of Star Wars films. But we don't know what they're about, when they're going to take place. A lot of people are hoping they're going to be sort of in that Knights of the Old Republic era. I mean, that's just speculation, rumor.
Well, one thing we can say for certain, there's going to be a lot more brother-sister love in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, I know.
What we got till now was just teasing us.
Yeah, you got to wonder if they're feeling like they got a hand tied behind their back. They're like, oh, boobs?
So this is
to tell a story.
Now this is something brand new, not connected to the Rian Johnson trilogy, which is still in development, despite what people are saying online.
Yeah, as far as we know.
So what it sounds like to me is the next 10 years of Star Wars are basically going to be spoken for between these two trilogies.
Isn't that nuts? These concurrent trilogies. That's interesting.
Basically, right?
Because these other things that we've gotten, Rogue One, Han Solo, these are just sort of like one-offs, you know? So
I mean, think about it. You've got 3 of those. You've got 3 of the Johnson movies, and then you got 3 spin-offs there's your 10 years.
Yeah. And I gotta wonder, because that's 6 movies coming from, different people that have different voices. At what point are they always going to try to look like the original trilogy? That's what they're trying to do now. But at some point, are they ever going to sort of veer off a little bit and have a score that doesn't sound like John Williams made it?
I think that the whole plan with these non-episode trilogies is to do exactly that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because, it stands to reason that if you are Lucasfilm, you want to expand the boundaries of what's acceptable from a Star Wars movie. You want to expand that as wide as possible. I was reading this thing today about how they are no longer doing the Wilhelm scream in Star Wars movies. Did you see this?
No.
Yeah,
What?
The Force Awakens is the last time you're going to hear a Wilhelm scream in a Star Wars movie.
Oh, I don't like that.
Yeah, they have a new scream that they're doing now.
They do?
Yeah, apparently.
You know what? I know this is such a non-important thing to talk about because I'm starting to sound serious. But if you're gonna put it in the Force Awakens, you gotta wrap up that trilogy.
I actually thought that. Yeah, I had that same thought.
Come on.
It's
that
kind of
actually turns me off a little bit.
It
makes me. So that's the first thing that rubbed me the wrong way a little bit.
See, the rationale. I would assume the rationale behind it is they don't want to feel handcuffed. Like, okay, we got to put this in. Right?
I absolutely understand, and I feel like Johnson shouldn't have to do that in his trilogy. Game of Thrones guys shouldn't have to do that. But if this one is going to hook up to the past 6 films that all have it, it's just a thing, right?
It's just something that you do.
I don't know. What do you think?
If I'm being honest,
I get it. I appreciate it. I appreciate what they're saying, but that feels like moving forward as you do try to veer off in your different sort of things. Like I said, with these trilogies, but with this one's connected.
Here's my thought. If I'm being honest, I can't say I noticed its lack in The Last Jedi.
Ditto.
However, that being said, when you say, well, we made an active decision not to include it as opposed to just putting it in somewhere, even if you don't hear it, just so it's there, that does make me a little, again, perspective. Not like, to me, sadness is like my dog died, and this is not that.
You're right.
Right? It's just like, all right. Another thing that's changed.
Yeah.
What are you going to do,
I love that we have this podcast so I can talk about these things. Cause
right.
I even tried to bring this up at lunch. People would be like, "Brian, you really need to."
People would slowly move away until you're sitting alone at lunch, just like 8th grade.
Just like 8th grade. I don't want to wait.
Jeez. But anyway, so my point is, you wait about 10 years, and then if you want to come back and do the saga, you build up a little anticipation for it.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah,
get Daisy Ridley back and Boyega and all that.
Yeah, and have them killed off in each movie.
Yeah.
That'll learn these new young whippersnappers who fall in love with these new characters.
Yeah, see what we're going through?
Some of us harder than others.
Yeah.
So another piece of news, while we're talking about all them old-time fans, I don't know if you saw this, that they are producing a scale toy of Jabba's sail barge.
No.
Did you see this?
Wait, scale, what size scale?
It would be 4 feet long.
Okay.
So this would be the largest Star Wars toy ever produced.
Okay.
And how is this going to work? It's through a new initiative called HasLab via Hasbro, where they will take pre-orders, and then if they receive enough orders to satisfy whatever minimum criteria they need to meet, they will then produce the toy. So if the demand is met, then you'll be charged. If they end up not producing it, you don't get charged. Now, I'm sure you're wondering, because I know you, Brian, you're a big Star Wars collector. You're like, how much money do I need to set aside for the Jabba sail barge, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's a cool $499.
Oof. Wow. It's funny that it's not even for like a Millennium Falcon or something.
Right.
That's a lot of money. That's for talk about 7 people.
Right.
And God bless them, but wow, that's very niche.
I mean, it's especially niche because no kid is gonna get it.
Oh yeah, I mean this is strictly for 40-year-olds.
Yeah, right. So you get this thing 4 feet long.
Yeah.
The hell is this gonna go in your house?
I was just gonna say it's one thing. Yeah. Where are you gonna? I remember when that recent Lego set came out for the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah.
It's like the biggest set ever and most expensive set ever, and it looked really cool. And I remember seeing online people who had put it together, and they were saying, "Yeah, you better have a place to put it,
right?
It's big."
Right.
So,
and it's crazy because I'm looking at the specs for this thing, and let's see. Here's what you get. You get the Vintage Collection Jabba sail barge, the Katana. That's what it's called. I don't know if you knew that.
What's that? What is that?
Jabba sail barge. That's what it's called. The Katana.
Oh.
So go to a club and impress a girl with that piece of wisdom. You'll be back in 8th grade at the lunch table alone again.
I don't want to wait. That's just going to keep happening.
Let's see. What does it come with? Complete with exquisitely detailed and fan-accessible interior-exterior decks, 2 soft cloth fabric sails, and other realistic features that mimic one of the most notorious vehicles in the Star Wars universe. What else does it come with? Oh, it comes with the Jabba the Hutt 3.75-inch scale figure. So that's exciting. And classic Vintage Collection packaging with special limited edition HasLab seal of authenticity. I feel like it's just a picture of Darth Vader pointing and laughing at you. I feel like that's I have your money now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, for the people that can make that work for them, that's cool. It exists, but it's interesting. Has there ever been a point in toy history where there's been this much super duper expensive collector sort of things being produced?
Well, as the proud owner of
new?
many Hot Toys, I'm going to say no.
Yeah.
It's funny because Mattel for a little while there had a manufacture on demand Masters of the Universe toy line that they were doing, which a couple of years ago they did a Castle Grayskull of that.
Like a recreation or a reimagining?
Well, it was a Castle Grayskull scaled to these newer figures, which are like about 7 inches, I think.
Okay.
And it was kind of the same deal as this, where like you had to pre-order it, and if it met the demand, then they would make it. And it was like a $300 thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not gonna lie, I thought long and hard. I sat there just staring at this computer for about an hour and 27 minutes, just debating whether I had it in my cart, took it out of my cart, put it. I ultimately didn't get it because I'm not insane, and I'd like my wife not to leave me, but. Ultimately, what it came down to is what am I going to do with this?
Yeah.
Right? I'm not going to play with it. I'm not going to play with it. I'm not going to let my kids play with it.
Right. So what?
It will serve no purpose in this house except taking up room.
Yeah. Yeah. Between you and your wife, yes.
Yeah, that's right. Because it's funny because I had the original Castle Grayskull. Did you ever have that?
No, my neighbor did.
That was one of those things where I got it. Like I basically, I don't know that I even threw a tantrum, but I pitched a fit about getting it. And so my parents basically got it, but my mom like never let me forget about how much she hated it.
Oh, really?
You know what I mean? So it was like that. So I never really got to enjoy it. Yeah.
That's funny. I totally know what you're talking about. That thing that you asked for, but it comes with a price.
It comes with a price. Your soul, it turns out.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I was living in Saudi Arabia at the time, so like I couldn't even bring it back here.
Oh, what a bummer.
Yeah, right. Because I mean, by the time we moved back, like it had been 7-8 years anyway. Like, but I kind if I had it here, it would have. I'd probably still have it somewhere.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Wait, on that note, have we talked about that Netflix series, The Toys That Made Us?
We have not.
Okay, so our pal Michael Olson, he recommended it to me about a week ago, and I watched. I think there's 4 of them. I watched 3 of them so far. I saw the one about Star Wars, G.I. Joe, and He-Man, and it's really. Have you seen it?
I have.
Okay, yeah, I thought it was really cool. It's just about the inception of these toys, and I think what was the coolest part about it wasn't just some historian recollecting it. I mean, it was the people who were actually there who drew the designs and figured out how big they should be and came up with their backstories and are even to this day bickering a bit about who came up with what. And they're all interesting characters themselves. I thought it was a fun, easygoing, like it goes down easy, goes quickly, little mini series or documentary or whatever you want to call it.
And they're doing more episodes. I believe there's a Transformers one coming down the pike.
Then I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. It's the Star Wars episode. I liked it, but I felt like there's actually, I think, a better documentary out there. It's called Plastic Galaxy.
Okay, you've mentioned this one, right?
I may have.
Okay.
I would highly recommend you check that out because that documentary, I think a weakness of that documentary is it talks to a bunch of fan collectors, and I don't really care about them, right? I care about the history of the toy. But I think what the toys that made us, I think the mistake that it does is it really glosses over huge swaths of Star Wars toy history.
Yeah, it's not comprehensive.
Yes, and I feel like if you're making that kind of a product, it needs to be comprehensive.
Yes. I mean, it could have been its own. These are like 50-minute episodes.
Yeah.
And whereas that could easily be a full-length documentary.
Yeah, I mean, you could get a mini series out of just Star Wars toys.
Yeah, right.
Because they skipped over like all the stuff from the 90s.
Right.
The revival, which I'm like, well, that's a huge part of why Star Wars toys came back, is because they redid all those original characters and people loved them, right? They skipped over that. However, one thing that they do focus on in the documentary is Jar Jar toys and the proliferation of them in episode 1. And this is a little point of pride for my brother because I don't know if I mentioned this, my brother used to work for Cap Candy, which is a subsidiary of Hasbro.
Oh, okay. Yes, you did, and I was trying to line it up with what I was watching, but I couldn't remember where he worked.
Yeah, so
Candy.
Yeah, like it wasn't the action figure part; it was the candy stuff. And as far as I know, Cap Candy is no longer around, but there's like a Jar Jar candy tongue. Which, like, how screwed up is this that somebody thought about this? But it's basically, it's like a Jar Jar head, and there's like a pump at the back. So you push the pump, and his mouth opens, and his tongue comes out, and it's like a candy tongue, and you suck the tongue.
Yeah.
So my brother designed the mechanism for that toy.
That's funny. And that's one of those toys that comes up on BuzzFeed infamous toy lists.
Yeah. Whenever it's like, oh, who the hell thought this was a good idea? It's like, well, my brother did.
Right.
And my brother's always like, look, I just designed the mechanism. I didn't come up with the idea for this stupid thing.
Right.
And then there's another, and this is, you can see this in the documentary. It's in the Toys That Made Us. It's a Pez hander. And,
yes.
And the basically it's like Jar Jar is at like a stall in Mos Espa, and you've got like the guy it's like he's cutting up a fish or whatever, but it's actually a Pez candy, and then Jar Jar has like an automated tongue that grabs the Pez.
I was going to mention that because yes, I just saw that in the thing. It seems like if they had one note about Jar Jar, it was feature the tongue. In the toys. I mean, they were all about the tongue. It's very weird. It's
funny how much of like they put all their eggs in that basket.
Yeah, and
The
you
Jar
wonder if
Jar
they even
basket.
had a script. If they just saw some footage and they're like, "Oh, this funny thing he does. This must be his thing."
Right.
You
Right.
know, that's what it feels like.
That's really fun. Yeah. Do check out that Plastic Galaxy if the history of Star Wars toys is something that you're intrigued to learn a little bit more about.
Yeah, I just wrote it down. That's on Netflix.
That is on. I think it's on Hulu, and if it's not on Hulu, you can see it on Vudu.
Okay, cool. And the Toys That Made Us is on Netflix.
That's on Netflix. Yeah. Other bits of Star Wars news. This is kind of nice, and it feels long delayed. Mark Hamill finally getting a star on the Walk of Fame.
I couldn't believe he didn't have one already.
That was my thought too, and then you realize that the whole process for which one gets a star is basically about raising money and like having a vested party who's willing to sponsor you and get like a star in your name. Like it's a whole thing. It's kind of a
Yeah, it's
racket.
not like this is offered to you.
Right.
It's something that has to be done.
Basically, yeah. So
procure one.
I think the fact that Mark Hamill's profile has been significantly elevated of late
Mhm.
is part of the reason why he's also presenting at the Oscars this year.
Oh, that's cool.
That's kind of nice. I read that and I was like, oh, that's nice.
Yeah, good for him.
You know,
Yeah.
it is nice to see Mark Hamill just out there and so visible. I don't know. I mean, that makes me feel good.
Yeah, no, I completely agree.
You know,
Yeah.
and I
He's,
look at him and I'm like, wait, he was in Star Wars? The voice actor?
I can't wait to tell my friend you referenced her. Yeah, that was amazing.
I to be honest, I kind of wanted to like type that up and like tweet that to Mark Hamill because I thought he might get a kick out of it. But then I was like, well,
Actually, when you posted your thing about James Gunn, how in the 21st century you can just write to a filmmaker and they'll answer your question,
yes.
that crossed my mind, relaying that story to Mark Hamill.
Yeah, I mean, so worth sharing this because since you brought it up and people might not know what the hell I'm talking about. So I was watching the Dawn of the Dead remake a couple days ago, and it occurred to me, I was like, oh, James Gunn wrote this, and then it got me thinking about how did he approach, like, when you have the original Dawn of the Dead, which is such a revered and influential movie, how do you approach it? And his style was to just go completely differently, and I thought that was one way of doing it. And then I was like, wait a minute, James Gunn is like on Twitter all the time. Why don't I ask him? And like within 70 minutes, he answered my question.
Yeah.
And I'm
really?
like,
Is that quick, huh?
it was like I asked at noon and by like 1:20, and I'm just like, the director of Guardians of the Galaxy, like it took him 2 seconds to answer a question. Like, I mean, what an amazing age we live in.
Mm-hmm.
Like when we're not friggin' assholes, the internet is a pretty amazing thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a big win.
It's pretty cool.
It is. So that was my like neat little interaction. And he gave a really good answer, by the way. I don't know if you saw what he wrote.
Oh, I did. Yeah, yeah.
Apparently he got death threats by people who were upset that he was doing a remake of Dawn of the Dead.
Is that just like a stock response to anything that happens? There has to be one person that makes a death threat.
What an odd response to something like that.
I know.
That's what I keep thinking about. It's funny though, because I remember when that story first broke about them doing a remake of Dawn of the Dead. It was on Ain't It Cool News, and it was like the guy who wrote Scooby Doo is doing a new Dawn of the Dead. Like that was the lead off.
Sure.
Which like, well, there's a reason nobody talks about Ain't It Cool News anymore, except in the past tense.
Yeah, right.
But let's take another break, and we'll be back right after this. Okay, here we go. We do have some headlines. We kind of flipped the order a little bit. I just thought this was kind of interesting, and this is worth mentioning because you know what, Brian? I like to stir the pot. I like to start controversies, and even when those embers of controversy have drifted away, I like to re-stoke them because that's just how I roll. So I don't know if you heard, but Zack Snyder got fired from Justice League.
have seen this headline and I have not read this story. So what is it? Like, who's saying this? How's this being reported?
Well, this all happened because there was a reporter, an entertainment reporter, who basically has quit the entertainment industry. So he did like a very lengthy "F all y'all" on Twitter.
Really? Was it good?
Well, I mean, he was basically just dumping a bunch of dirty laundry, and one of the pieces of dirty laundry was like, "Hey, Warner Brothers said that Zack Snyder left Justice League so that he could grieve for his daughter who committed suicide," and he's like, "That's actually bullshit. He had already been fired, and they just used that as an excuse." And I'm like, "Well, that's horrific." Right? Now, the reason I even bring this up is because what that actually did was just confirm something I had heard from sources who were in a position to know when that happened. Because when that story broke about the daughter, I had somebody via text tell me they're not telling you the truth. They're just using it as an excuse. So this was, in fact, confirmation of that.
Wow.
So that's something, I don't think I even told you that, Brian.
No, I don't think you did.
Yeah, that was something, because they had sworn me to secrecy, so I never brought it up. But apparently the cat's out of the bag. And that I bring this up not to kick dirt in the eye of either Zack Snyder or Warner Brothers, because, Justice League came and went, and who cares at this point, right? But it does show yet again what a colossal mess in terms of scheduling and planning this whole universe ended up being.
Yeah.
Because there was a, sorry, real quick. I mean, there was a write up by Mario Robles over at Revenge of the Fans, where he really looks at how by the time Justice League came out, Warner Brothers' attitude was just get it out the door, get it over with, and put it in the rear view.
Right.
And I'm like, how are you going to release a movie featuring Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman, and your idea is just get it behind us as fast as possible?
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you do that?
It's disappointing. What I was just going to say was today, that Honest trailer. You see that for
Yes.
Justice League? And as I was watching it, because you and I enjoyed Justice League enough.
We did.
Yeah. But at the same time, when you're watching them rag on it a little bit, you're like, yeah, I had that very thought that what you just said, where this should have been one of the biggest movies of the year. And now it's just this thing that, we sort of, spit on and joke about.
It's a shame.
It's easy to rag on it.
I mean,
how did that happen?
Another piece of the reporting, because this ongoing question now is what's going to happen with Ben Affleck, what's going to happen with Henry Cavill. And it sure, I mean, geez, just from watching Justice League, it sure looks like Affleck has just one foot out the door already.
Right.
Right. But again, when you read some of this reporting, the hope that Warner Brothers had when they signed Affleck on was that he would RDJ it, quote unquote.
Right.
And he would be the face of the universe, and he had really sort of redeemed his reputation. People forget how colossally train wrecked his career had been in the
at
10,
one point.
Yeah, I mean, in the 10 years before, The Town, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so he worked his way back up, and then it's like he got hit on the head with a frying pan with these films, because they're disappointed in him, and I have to imagine he's disappointed in them.
Yeah, I mean, if you sign up, someone asks you to be Batman, you're like, well, this is going to work.
Right.
You kind of assume. But, then to put it all on the line and step into that would be disappointing.
Yeah, I was reading about how basically they had promised him, like, it'll be a one for us, one for you kind of thing. And so, he was going to do Batman vs. Superman, and there would have been enough time to work on Live by Night and then do Justice League. Like, it was all pretty mapped out. And then, doing reshoots, and then this interrupted that. And it was just all this stuff, frustration from him, which led directly to him just walking away from directing any Batman solo movie, which was the end game when they first signed him on.
Yeah.
So it is sad, especially because it sure looks like Affleck. I can't imagine he'll be back.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine, but it's again, watching that Honest trailer, you look at the things that are working. I mean, obviously Wonder Woman, namely.
Yeah.
So what do you do? I mean, do you blow it up or do you keep this and change that? And I don't know. Glad I don't have to figure it out.
I mean, that's my question, right? And this has been the question because some people are saying, just blow it up.
Yeah.
And my whole thing is like, well, like you said, Wonder Woman is your reason not to because she exists. What are you going to do about it?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, to me, it's like, well, fix it. I mean,
yeah.
That doesn't mean you need to make another Justice League movie. Maybe eventually you can come back around to that idea because this was supposed to be a 2-part movie. Remember that thing for like a minute?
Yeah.
Everyone forgets about this, right? I think they talk about that in the Honest trailer.
Yeah, they do.
Right. But you got Aquaman this year, and I think it's December, right?
Okay.
And they just had a screening the other day. I haven't seen any reactions from that. But let's assume that that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well then, okay. You've got one sort of chit, right? And then they're doing Shazam. They're filming that right now, right? With Zachary Levi as Shazam. And what I've read is Henry Cavill has a cameo in that.
Okay.
So okay, let's say that does. I mean, so in other words, you're doing now finally what Marvel did when Iron Man first came out. Is you weren't planning for friggin' like 3 phases down.
Yeah.
You're not like, oh, Iron Man comes out. We're like, hey, we're going to have Thanos show up next summer and like every Marvel character is going to be in it.
Yeah.
Right? So now you build back up to some kind of a team-up movie and then, maybe you acknowledge Justice League, maybe you don't, but you don't have to destroy the whole universe.
Yeah. I mean, Wonder Woman is way too... She made too much of an impact to discard her for sure.
Yeah, and they've already got the sequel to that scheduled.
Yeah.
So focus on what works. Give Batman a rest.
Yeah.
I would just as soon we go like 5 more years without a Batman solo movie. I don't want to see Nightwing. I don't want to see Batgirl. I don't want to see any Bat-related characters.
Mm-hmm. I forgot about Batgirl.
Yeah, well, remember Joss Whedon was supposed to do that? What do you think the odds are he's still involved with that?
Right.
Right? It's funny because I was talking to my students just the other day about the representation behind the camera, and I was like, about 10 years ago they were making a Wonder Woman movie. Joel Silver was producing it, and they're like, we need somebody who can really who knows how to depict strong women. And instead of being like, hey, what women directors are there, they were like, get me Joss Whedon. Right? Like, oh, he knows how to write women. It's like, yeah, but women know how to write women.
Yeah. Which obviously seems obvious now, but I remember a time when it'd be like, yes, that makes complete sense.
Right. I mean,
Joss Whedon does know women very well.
But I mean, honestly, it's amazing how quickly things change.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of where the DC universe is. I'm a fan of these characters. I'm a fan of certainly that comic book universe. So I don't want it to die on the vine.
Mm-hmm.
But it definitely feels like they are running as far away from whatever Zack Snyder laid down as they can.
Yeah. And maybe that's, for the best. Change the tone a little bit, make it its own thing.
Do you think that now that, it is all basically over, the smarter play would have been to just let Snyder make his movie if they were just going to walk away from it anyway?
That is an interesting point. I mean, because if we think of Man of Steel and BVS as the first 2 legs of a trilogy with Justice League culminating, well, then it's an unfinished trilogy. Right. And you probably would have had the same results.
Yeah.
But I understand their thinking behind trying to lighten it up and do whatever it is they wanted to do. But yeah, I like you say, you're already 2 out of 3 things down. May as well just wrap it up.
Yeah. Okay, well, let the pieces fall where they will, and then we'll figure it out after.
It almost might have been better.
Yeah, because you would have saved about $150 million.
That, and you would have been like, this is the Snyder thing, and that is done, and now we move on to something else.
Well, my God, I never thought I'd say this, Brian, but release the Snyder Cut.
Right.
So, other headlines. Now, this is kind of interesting. I don't know if you saw this, but Hasbro and Paramount have taken Transformers 6 off the schedule.
So I guess I remember they had a writer's room for Transformers over at Paramount, but I guess I didn't realize that there was a 6 on the schedule. All I remember is that Michael Bay said that 5 was his last one. So
it was his last one, but I mean, Paramount had no reason to think that the 5th one wouldn't be just as successful as all the other ones have been.
Yeah,
Quality notwithstanding.
Right, but they are worldwide monster hits.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but how much did the last one make?
I don't know. I can look it up, but I know it was less.
It was less, right? So I'm looking at Box Office Mojo right now. Transformers last night made $605 million worldwide.
Oh, yeah, I mean that's like significantly less.
That's a big drop. That's a Last Jedi kind of drop. Start that again, eh? No.
Now, why do you think that is?
Why do I think it made less?
They literally didn't change anything. So I mean, why didn't it work this time?
I think the answer is in the question. I think people wised up.
Right.
I mean,
fool me 5 times.
Well, but Brian, I've said this to you before, right? The measure of how successful a movie is it can sometimes be in how many mediocre sequels people will put up with.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And
sure.
I think the first Transformers movie is pretty good.
Yeah, I agree with that. I like it too.
I haven't revisited it recently, but I mean, I don't remember it being, egregiously, offensively stupid. And so I think people are like, oh, I want some more of that, and they put up with it for the second one, which people, well, no, the second one people didn't like, but people did like the third one. You even liked the third one.
Yes. Just from a visual, like I don't remember the plot. I'm sure it isn't good, but yes. I remember having fun with the action in that one.
There you go. So that was enough to get juice in the tank for the fourth one.
Right.
And then people did not like the fourth one, is my sense. And then that's why the fifth one didn't do good.
So is this Wahlberg's fault?
What isn't Wahlberg's fault? I blame him for most things in life.
Yeah.
I blame Trump on Wahlberg, just because.
Right.
Just because.
Wahlberg.
Right? So this last one tanks. Now it didn't tank. I mean, $605 million. I will gladly take $605 million.
Not me.
You're like, psh, that's just penny ante stuff. $605 million against a budget of $217 million. It made $130 million domestically.
Yeah, that's not good.
So that's actually, I'm curious there actually, because how much did the last one make domestically?
I'm just gonna guess because I think you probably have it close to you, but I mean like upper 200s.
Yes. So, well, not upper, mid 200s. $245 million.
Okay.
So this one made more than $100 million less than the previous one, right? So this fifth one was supposed to be like, oh, and now we're setting up the whole universe, and we're gonna have the Bumblebee movie and this movie and that movie, and it seems like apathy was the response, right? Mm-hmm. So they've already got this Bumblebee movie filmed, as far as I know. It's ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of like, well, they're stuck. They have to put that one out, and that's coming out, I want to say next year. No. I think it's this year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And that's being directed by the guy who did Kubo and the Two Strings.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, so, I mean, good for him, I guess. Yeah, 20.
Yeah, I mean, he's visually interesting, and it's cool to see a Transformers movie from someone else, honestly.
Well, so here's why that is maybe not such a bad idea, because it cost $100 million to make.
Wow.
Which is what you want to spend on a movie like that. Yeah. Right? And John Cena is in it, by the way. That's kind of random. Right? It also stars Haley Steinfeld. Steinfeld? How's it pronounced?
I don't know. I know you're talking about the girl from True Grit.
From True Grit, yeah. So she is Bumblebee's owner, I guess, before Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah, and if I remember right, it takes place in the 80s.
That is correct, I think. Yeah.
So that's kind of a way you can distance yourself.
It's a little different, but I mean,
Maybe
it's going to be a hard sell. That's my prediction because they're not coming from a place of strength. Because audiences seem to have, if not rejected, at least greeted with a shrug the last Transformers movie, and then you're like, "Here's more," and people are like, "I don't know, maybe not."
Right. And if you're rebooting, it's kind of unfortunate to have this in the can.
Yes.
You'd probably rather just move forward.
I mean, that's kind of the hilarious thing to me is that all their universe making is what ultimately killed the Golden Goose.
Yeah, right.
If they would have just kept, I mean, seriously, I actually, you know what, I'm like talking myself out of this because I think it's probably the smartest thing to do is reboot, because what can anyone do to come in and make sense of whatever the hell Michael Bay has been doing for the last 10 years?
Oh, I agree. You may as well, I mean, a new look,
Right.
like a new angle. I think that's a good idea.
Bring in a fan.
Sure.
Not of the movies, of the everything but the movies, who can sort of create a mythology. You know, that would make sense.
Mm-hmm.
So you know what? I went from mocking Paramount to applauding Paramount.
I think it makes sense.
All in the span of like 3 minutes, Brian.
And what a ride it was.
So look for a Transformers reboot at some point. Not in 2019 because they're going to lick their wounds and come back with something. Mm-hmm. Another piece of news. This has me intrigued, Brian. James Bond 25. You know, that's coming up next year.
Oh, wow. I didn't know it was so close.
Yeah, and that's going to be Daniel Craig's last hurrah.
Okay, which was not certain for a little while, right?
I mean, I think it was all but certain, you know?
He's like, pay me.
Yeah, well no, but he had a contract for one more.
Oh, I see.
So, I mean, yeah, technically he could have been like, look, I don't want to do it. And what were they going to do? Force him, like, at gunpoint, you know?
Right.
If he truly wanted out. But I think I said this to you on the show before. If you're Daniel Craig and you're beloved in this role and you're never, ever going to have the same amount of visibility again, why wouldn't you ride it out for as long as you do it? Because it's a job you take on knowing you're gonna hand it off at some point.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And Daniel Craig is, I don't know, maybe, I mean, I think it's fair to say he's quite beloved in the role.
I think so.
You know?
Probably brought fresh audience goers to the franchise.
Absolutely. And it's crazy to realize that by the time his last movie comes out, it'll have been 13 years since Casino Royale.
Wow.
Isn't that nuts?
Yeah.
I mean, it truly does not feel like that.
No.
Then again, I was watching GoldenEye the other day, which is Pierce Brosnan's first movie, and I'm like, this movie is 23 years old.
Wow. I'd like to see that one again. That's the first Bond movie I remember watching.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It holds up. I think it holds up.
Yeah. From what I remember, I mean, sometimes I'll catch little pieces of it on cable. It still looks good.
I think the movie is Brosnan's best. It's weird because Brosnan had this thing where, like, as he went on, the movies kind of got worse.
Right.
But he got better.
Oh.
You know, because the more comfortable he got. Like, I think The World Is Not Enough, which is his next to last one, he is fantastic in it. The movie is like, okay, I don't hate it, but he is so good in it. You know, and you can when you watch his films, you can see sort of within the crevices, like the Bond that he wanted to play, which is more of a hard ass and more like in the Sean Connery vein, and he never really got the chance to do that.
Mm-hmm.
He kept pushing him. He's like, can we make him harder edged? Can we make him a little darker? And I feel like each time they're like, hey, so in this one, Pierce, you have an invisible car and you fight a dude with diamonds in his face. And he's like, what the F are you guys doing? Like, it almost feels like that. You know what I mean?
That's funny.
Because he went to them. He's like, you guys should do Casino Royale. And it's almost like, so Pierce, check it out. We're doing Casino Royale. But funny story, you're not going to be in it. Like, did he do something to them? You know?
Poor Brosnan.
I know. It's kind of sad. But Daniel Craig is about to term out. He's about to, we're about to witness the passing of the torch. It's kind of crazy.
That's kind of exciting because, I mean, yeah, so Casino Royale was post Batman Begins, right?
Yes, it was. It was the year after.
Okay, so that was kind of the era when things were getting a little harder and a little grittier, and I wonder. Well, I was going to say, like, I just wonder what sort of a reinvention, bringing a new person in, what the tone will adapt to with these times.
Yes, that's a good question. I mean, I think that Casino Royale was a response to Batman Begins and Jason Bourne.
Right.
And definitely, I think the zeitgeist has moved on to some extent where I think people are ready for a Bond that's a little bit more fanciful.
Mm-hmm.
But I wonder, what is the spectrum of what people will accept? I mean, that's always my question, right? Because if we look at it as like Casino Royale being like one end of the spectrum and then like Moonraker being the other end, where does James Bond kind of need to last to sort of be widely accepted?
Yeah.
Or need to land to be widely accepted.
Yeah, I'll be curious, but I love Casino Royale.
Yeah, me too, man. I revisited that one fairly often, and it's very solid.
Yeah, I admittedly do not have a lot of experience with the James Bond movies, but it's one of those things, I think I've said it before, where I bought like the set off Amazon when it was cheap at one point, and I was like, I am going to get through these.
And how many have you gotten through?
I have yet to start. But I do look at it like, oh, that's going to be an adventure.
Yeah, I talk about this in my classes. I'm like, when you look at the Bond films, you can't separate it from what it means in the history of film, which is a franchise unlike any other.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, it's been around long enough now, from 1962 to now, so we're looking at 56-7 years at this point. It's the last half century plus of Western history.
Mm-hmm.
It's geopolitics, it's fashion, it's technology, it's race relations, it's gender relations, you name it. So if you were to sit down and watch like one movie a day for the better part of a month, what an education that would be.
Yeah.
So that's a fun thing. So regardless, Daniel Craig is just about done, and they have not yet announced who is going to direct his last movie. But what we've learned about who is potentially a front runner on the list is none other than Danny Boyle. And that news made me excited.
Yeah, I'll be curious what that's like. What was the last film he did?
Friend of the show, Danny Boyle, Brian.
Yeah.
That's right.
What was his last thing? It wasn't that
Steve Jobs.
Oh yeah. There was like that one that kind of got lost in the middle there.
He did. He did Trainspotting 2.
Yes, which I heard was good. I haven't seen it.
I have not seen it yet.
Yeah, whatever. Trance, wasn't that it? James McAvoy.
Oh wow, I'm drawing a total blank on that. Trance, yes, that was 2013.
Yeah, it was one that got kind of lost, and there's like 127 hours on that stuff.
Yes, and then Trust, that new TV series.
The Paul Getty.
Yeah, the take 2 of that story.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know if you saw this. So there's a new interview in GQ with Brendan Fraser. Have you seen this?
No. I saw that you posted it, and
yes.
I mean to get to it.
So Brendan Fraser is starring on this TV series, Trust, and he's playing, I believe, the same role that Mark Wahlberg played in the Ridley Scott movie.
Okay, sure. The Fixer character?
Yeah, so the name of Fraser's character is James Fletcher Chase. Is that who Wahlberg plays? Do you know?
I don't recall, but I feel like I read somewhere that
clearly a memorable turn by Mark Wahlberg. Where the hell's the kid? What the hell's going on? Please tell me he says that. I wish he would.
I'm sure he did.
So Danny Boyle. So this interview is like, where the hell has Brendan Fraser been? Which is, I think, what many people our age have been wondering for a couple years now.
Yeah.
right? And so you read this interview, and it's really good. If you haven't read it, check it out. Again, it's on the GQ website, and it's like kind of like this heartbreaking look at this guy who was sort of ubiquitous at one point,
Mm-hmm.
and then the just time has sort of left him behind.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a piece of the interview, and forgive me, I forget the author's name, but he says something to the effect of like, if you watched movies in the last part of the last century, you watched Brendan Fraser.
Mm-hmm.
Every year you would see him on movie posters, and then one day you just stopped seeing him on movie posters, and it's like, that's very apt.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for us, it started with Encino Man, probably.
Yeah, I mean, he had a run.
Oh yeah, and then the Mummy movies,
right, and then by the time the early part of the 2000s with like Looney Tunes, that
oh yeah,
remember, and then it kind of started, and then he did like Monkey Bone or whatever, Fuzzy Vengeance, Furry Vengeance, whatever the hell it's called.
Oh yeah.
My kids love him and all those things, but anyway, he just kind of disappeared. So he was appearing on a show called The Affair.
Showtime?
I believe so, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And so Danny Boyle saw him on that, and based on his appearance there, he cast him in this show Trust, which looks like it could be kind of like a comeback vehicle for him.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, but read that interview. It's one of those, like, I don't know. You feel sad reading it.
Oh, yeah. He seems like one of those guys where I've never heard a bad thing about him, and you'd be happy to bump into him, and the movies you remember him being in bring a smile to your face. So now it's with trepidation I will approach this article.
I know it's one of those, like, like, let me put it this way. Here's a brief passage. Let's pull this up. Okay, so this is the author of the piece. He laughs a small, sad laugh. He, meaning Brendan Fraser. And then here's the quote from Brendan Fraser. This is going to really probably be a little sacred for you, Fraser warns. But I felt like the horse from Animal Farm, whose job it was to work and work and work. Orwell wrote a character who was, I think, the proletariat. He worked for the good of the whole. He didn't ask questions. He didn't make trouble until it killed him. I don't know if I've been sent to the glue factory, but I felt like I've had to rebuild shit that I've built that got knocked down and do it again and again for the good of everyone, whether it hurts you or not. And you're like, oh, geez. And that's talking about like all the injuries that he's taken over the years and just kind of doing it because that's what he's expected to do.
Huh.
And, now he's, however old he is at this point, right?
Yeah, I don't even...
He's 49, I mean,
Okay, yeah.
And he tells a story about Brett Ratner that somehow manages to make you hate Brett Ratner even more, which I consider
Really?
that's a feat.
Yeah.
Because if slime could walk and talk like a person, that would be Brett Ratner.
Yeah. Huh. All right, well, yeah, I will definitely check that out.
Yeah, so anyway, winding back around to Danny Boyle, he has not been signed yet. So that's still, I think what I read is that he came up with an idea, because I don't know if you remember this, but a couple of years ago for the Summer Olympics, they had like a thing with James Bond. Do you remember that?
Kind of.
It was when it was in the UK, the Olympics.
Yeah. He was like on a boat or something, right?
No, he like goes to the Queen to get an assignment. Remember?
Yes.
So Danny Boyle directed that.
Oh, funny.
Yeah. So I have a feeling that like Daniel Craig probably from that moment was like, hey, you should do a James Bond movie.
Yeah, like, oi, this is fun.
Oh, yeah, right. I'd rather slit my wrists, is what he said a couple of years later. But at that moment, he was like, this is fun. And so basically, I think he's pitched an idea, and they're going to write the script, and then Michael Wilson and Barbara Bacri are going to make a decision based on that script, whether they want to move ahead with Danny Boyle doing it.
Well, I'd be into it. It's kind of fun when different people bring their voices to this. Like, you get a film that's still a Bond film, but it also has different flavor to it. And that's kind of fun. Yeah.
So I'm hoping. I think he's got the right sensibilities. I don't think he'd go crazy. I think being English, he would have the reverence for Just kind of
Right.
doing something straight down the middle. I don't think he'll have like James Bond getting high and climbing into a toilet or whatever.
Yeah, with techno music playing.
Although,
Yeah, totally.
don't we kind of want that now?
I'm open to it.
You're open. So here's a piece of news. So Brian, remember how like a few minutes ago we were talking about how we'd be shocked if Joss Whedon ends up directing that Batgirl movie?
Yes.
So it turns out Joss Whedon's not directing that Batgirl movie.
What?
This is true.
What?
This is what we call in the business, Brian, breaking news.
I thought you were going to say a coinky dink.
We could go with that too. It's a little bit of both.
Yeah. So what's this?
So I'm reading a story here at the Hollywood Reporter, and it says that there's an ad up that I need to wait.
I was going to say, the thing we were just talking about a minute ago that I was like, no, I haven't thought about that in a while. Is that still happening? No, Brian. No.
It is not. Let's see.
The world was like, no.
I know. This is kind of amazing, We sent out the bat signal, Brian, and we got an answer. So here is a statement from Joss Whedon himself, and he says, Batgirl is such an exciting project in Warner's/DC, such collaborative and supportive partners that it took me months to realize I really didn't have a story. I'm grateful to Jeff Johns and Toby Emmerich and everyone who was so welcoming when I arrived and so understanding when I, is there a sexier word for failed? And that's his statement. So that's a move. Now, I mean, I find it hard to believe that he couldn't come up with a story to tell about Batgirl.
I was just going to say, sometimes I cringe when I hear this expression, but there's a lot to unpack here.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds like. I mean, I don't know. Honestly, if I were to guess, there's two things here. Number one, what we were talking about earlier. I think he may have shouldered some of the blame for what happened on Justice League.
Sure.
But I think even more than that, it's just why would we have a Batgirl movie that's not directed by a woman?
Right.
And
right. Like we do that now. So
that's we've advanced recently. Yeah. So
right.
I if I were to guess, I think mutually they were like, it makes more sense to just have a separation here than have him make the movie and have all the questions come up because all the I'm sure you saw, right, like where his ex-wife was accusing him of sort of general shadiness.
Yeah.
So have all those conversations happen again. So I think, but honestly, I'll tell you something. If this means we don't get a Batgirl movie, I ain't gonna complain.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I'd be kind of into it. Just because I haven't seen one, so it'd feel inherently somewhat fresh in some ways. But I don't know. I'd rather not see a bad one than have one not exist. That makes sense.
I know exactly what you're saying, but I mean, I think for me, I'm kind of like, how do you do a Batgirl movie that is not reliant upon Batman?
Yeah, that's true. And when Batman, as we've said, is so up in the air over there right now.
Yes.
And as you were suggesting, should be put on the shelf for a few years
and played out.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, but yeah, this does seem like probably a good move, and also the story behind it seems questionable. But hey, moving on. Well,
speaking of other things that are coming back, whether we like them or not, this is just one story I wanted to get your reaction to, if you have a reaction. They're bringing back Magnum P.I.
Yeah, I saw that headline.
I'm just like, what's funny is a lot of people are like, are there no original ideas left? And I'm like, have you just started paying attention to Hollywood in the last 5 years?
Oh, just today I saw they're remaking Honey, I Shrunk the Kids and Father of the Bride, and
this is just, it's what they do.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But, it also led me to realize, a lot of times people say you get sort of stuck in the past and, think everything you grew up with is better than everything else. But this is just confirming that everything was better when we were kids. because they can't let go of
They
it.
can't let go of it. So here's what's interesting about this. Now, it is going to be on CBS, which aired the original show, and it's going to star as Thomas Magnum, PI, if you will, Jay Hernandez.
And I remember him from.
Are you asking, or are you?
Yeah, I'm asking.
So he has actually been kicking around forever, but I think you would probably know him best as El Diablo in Suicide Squad.
Oh, yeah, I liked him.
He was actually a good character, and so I heard this, and I'm like, well, that's cool. I'm glad that they're mixing it up a little bit. And I said it'll probably just be just as unwatchable as the MacGyver reboot.
Yeah.
And meaning it'll last forever, just like the MacGyver reboot.
Yeah.
So my thing with this is, how much do I have invested in the original Magnum? Not very much.
No.
I liked the show growing up. And
like the theme song.
I love that theme music, I'll tell you. That's my ringtone.
Is it?
It is my ringtone, yeah.
Is it really?
It is my ringtone, yeah.
Oh, funny.
Because it's a damn good theme. Mike Post.
It is a good theme.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun,
There you go. You got it.
Yeah.
But I'm like, okay, well, if you're going to mix it up this way. Like Higgins is going to be a chick in this one,
Oh, that is what's going to happen?
That is what's going to happen, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I was just going to say, like, what...
But she's going to have a mustache, so they're keeping aspects of it.
That's funny.
But so they're mixing it up. But here's my thing. I am so looking forward to all those people who are about to make Thomas Magnum is a white guy their hill to die on.
They are welcome to that hill.
Yeah, because that's a coming. And I'm like, well, I'm glad that you've chosen a thing to make your cause.
Yeah. Wake up, death threat guy.
Yeah, right.
What? Get on his Twitter.
So, I feel like I want to throw this out to the audience. What 80s properties that have not been revived would you like to see revived? And how would you like to see it? Would you like to see it done as a recasting, a la Magnum, or a revival with the original cast? Because they're doing a lot of both.
Yeah, Roseanne.
Roseanne is coming back,
Alf is what I'm requesting.
Really? That's your hill to die on?
That's my hill.
There you go. Brian's chosen his hill.
Bring back Johnny Five.
Short Circuit also?
Oh, yeah.
How about a Short Circuit Alf crossover?
Well, that's like a Brian... trying to think of a clean word.
A Short Circuit Alf cinematic universe.
Yeah. Anyway, I would be there.
You'd be there. Well, tell us what your hill to die on is, and I think that's a good place for us to wind down this episode.
Wait, what's yours?
Well, I've said in the past, Perfect Strangers.
Revival then.
But here's the problem, right? Number one, I saw the skit that Mark Lynn Baker and Bronson Pinchot did on Jimmy Kimmel. Did you see that?
Yeah. Yes, I did.
And if I'm honest, it made me a little sad.
Sure.
And because I'm like, they're older guys now, right?
Well, it's like 30 years.
I mean, understandable. I mean, time moves in a linear fashion in our plane of existence. Mm-hmm. And I mean, they're older. So it's like, do I want to see them back doing that same stuff? No, because it's a little too Dumb and Dumber 2, right?
Sure.
But then it's like, who could possibly play those characters but them?
No, yeah, you can't.
Right? So then I had to make that realization that, well, Perfect Strangers exists at that moment in time, and those episodes are there forever, but there's no going back to that.
Yeah.
And that's my lesson to all of you out there listening. Things you love will die. Let's get over it. The end.
Well, you can find me working at Puppy Dog Pals.
I mean, I have nothing else I can say beyond that. It's been that kind of week.
Yeah.
But hey, continue what you were saying. Where can people find you?
Well, yeah, you can find me writing for a show called Puppy Dog Pals, which airs on Disney and Disney Junior, and it is a hilarious, adorable show about these two dogs that are always going on adventures. And I think if you have young kids, you love puppy dogs, you're probably going to like it. So check it out.
And as for me, you can find me at my website, ZackysCorner.com. That's ZAKIS Corner. That's also my Twitter. I'm quite prolific, Brian.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
I'm as prolific on Twitter as you are not.
You know, as you mentioned Twitter, I want to say to some of the listeners out there, they'll tweet out at us and they'll tweet at Zachy and share that they enjoyed episodes or where they listened to episodes and that they enjoyed them. And Zachy, because I don't check Twitter very much, Zachy will share these things with me, and they are just so cool to receive. And I really appreciate when people reach out like that. It's really fun knowing that, there's people on the other end of this enjoying this, and it really makes me excited to do this. And I love seeing and hearing that stuff. So
I want to give a special shout out by name to Carlos DM, who tweeted a picture of the snow-covered driveway that he just shoveled, and he said, "I need to personally thank Zachy and the Movie Film Podcast for making this task twice over no less tolerable today." Which, I mean, I sent that to Brian, and Brian said this back to me, and I concur completely. How surreal it is that he and we sit here talking to each other, occasionally making each other laugh, usually confusing each other. And yeah, it's just a thing we do, and then we hit send on the thing, and there it is. And then somebody half the country away is listening to us while they're doing some chore that's not ideal, and it's making that job go a little easier. Yeah,
that moment in time was the thing that struck me. Like, this is a moment, like right now, I mean, even this is kind of like a chill, fun episode, and it's a little later, so I know I'm talking a little slower and stuff, but I love doing this. I love chatting with you, and this is just a moment in time, and then we're going to publish it, and just that it lives on, and people are enjoying it. It really means a lot. And that specific tweet, I'm glad you called it out. That really made my day, and that was really cool to see that.
And Carlos, by the way, is the person who brought to my attention that RoboCop Hot Toys. So, Carlos, you made my day too. My wife wants to have a word with you. But with that, if you have any questions or comments for us, please do email us at moviefilmpodcast@gmail.com. You can also hit like on our Facebook page, facebook.com/moviefilmpodcast. And also go to iTunes and leave a review, leave a star rating. Every little bit helps. We love hearing what you have to say about the show. If it's nice, if it's not nice, then honestly keep it to yourself. That's just not polite. But anything to say, please let us know, and we will be back shortly with more. February is almost over, but hey, there's stuff coming in March, right, Brian?
Oh yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing Annihilation eventually.
Man, the reviews for that are off the charts.
I know. Well, I loved Ex Machina, and I'm encouraged by the reviews. So yeah, I'm looking forward to checking it out.
Well, that will be most likely coming up in our next episode, so you can look forward to that conversation, plus much more when the Movie Film Podcast returns. Until next time, my name is Zachy Hassan, and on behalf of Brian Hall, this has been Movie Film 142. Thank you, everybody, for listening. We'll catch you next time.
Welcome, friends, it's the Movie Film Podcast. The Movie Film Podcast, enjoy the show. Zachy and Brian are talking about movies. Movie Film Podcast on the radio.